I was sitting on the couch watching some cooking show I wasn't really paying attention to when I heard the front door slam so hard the pictures on the walls shook. My heart jumped into my throat. It was 11 p.m. on a Friday night. Amber had texted me 2 hours ago saying she was at Tyler's friend's party and would be home by midnight. I shot up from the couch and rushed toward the entryway. What I saw made my blood freeze. My daughter was on the floor, not sitting, collapsed, like her legs had just given out the second she made it through the door. Her whole body was shaking so violently I could see it from across the room. Her face was a mess of smeared makeup, black mascara running down her cheeks in thick streams. Her hair was tangled and wild. And her shirt, her favourite blue shirt I'd bought her for her birthday, was torn at the collar, hanging off her shoulder. "Amber!" I dropped to my knees beside her, my hands hovering over her body, not sure where to touch, afraid I might hurt her more. "Baby, what happened? Are you hurt?" She couldn't even look at me. She just sobbed. Deep, painful sobs that came from somewhere so broken inside her that it made my chest physically ache. I'd heard my daughter cry before, when she fell off her bike at 7 and broke her arm, when her grandmother died, when her father left us. But this was different. This was the sound of something shattered. I pulled her into my arms and she collapsed against me like a rag doll. Her whole body was trembling so hard, I thought she might be having a seizure. "Amber, honey, talk to me, please. You're scaring me." "Mom," she gasped between sobs. Her voice so small and broken it didn't even sound like her. "Mom, I can't. I can't. Breathe, baby. Just breathe. I'm right here. I've got you." I stroked her hair, trying to keep my own panic down. My mind was racing through every terrible possibility. Car accident, drugs, someone attacked her. My hands were shaking as badly as hers. It took 5 full minutes before she could even form words. When she finally spoke, each word came out between gasping breaths. "Tyler, we were at the party, and he was drinking." My stomach dropped. I already didn't like Tyler. Something about that boy had never sat right with me. Too smooth, too charming. The kind of kid who knew exactly what to say to parents but had something cold behind his eyes. I told him. I wanted to leave, Amber continued, her voice cracking. He got mad, really mad. He said I was embarrassing him. He grabbed my arm and dragged me upstairs to one of the bedrooms. No, please don't let this be what I think it is. He pushed me onto the bed. Amber's whole body shuddered with the memory. I told him to stop. I said no. I kept saying no, Mom. I promise I said no. Tears were burning in my eyes now, but I forced them back. I had to stay strong for her. "I know you did, baby. I know." He wouldn't listen. He got on top of me and he put his hands. She broke down again, burying her face in my shoulder, her screams muffled against my shirt. "He touched me, Mom. He forced himself on me. I tried to push him off, but he was too strong. I was crying and begging him to stop, and he just kept going." The world went silent. I could see Amber's mouth moving. See more tears falling, but I couldn't hear anything over the ringing in my ears. My baby. My sweet, innocent baby girl. That boy put his hands on my daughter. He hurt her. He violated her. Something inside me cracked. Not broke. Cracked. Like ice on a frozen lake, spiderwebbing out in every direction, ready to shatter completely. "How did you get away?" I managed to ask, my voice eerily calm despite the hurricane building inside my chest. "Someone knocked on the door," Amber whispered. "Tyler got distracted for just a second and I pushed him as hard as I could. He fell backward and I just ran. I didn't even grab my jacket. I just ran all the way home." That was 2 miles. My daughter ran 2 miles in the dark, crying, traumatized, with her shirt torn. And I hadn't known. I'd been sitting here watching TV while my baby was running for her life. "Where does he live?" I asked quietly. "Mom, no. Please don't do anything crazy. His family has money. They have lawyers. Everyone says his dad always gets him out of trouble." I held Amber tighter. Look at me, sweetie. She lifted her tear-stained face to mine. Her eyes were red and swollen and filled with so much pain it physically hurt me to look at her. I promise you, I said, my voice steady and cold as steel. Tyler Graves will never hurt you or anyone else ever again. Do you trust me? She nodded, sniffling. What are you going to do? I wiped her tears with my thumb and gave her the gentlest smile I could manage. I'm going to take care of everything. But first, let's get you cleaned up and into bed. Okay. I helped Amber to her feet and guided her upstairs. I ran her a hot bath, gave her clean pajamas, and sat with her until she finally cried herself to exhausted sleep at 2 a.m. Then I went back downstairs. I picked up my phone from the coffee table where I'd left it. My hands weren't shaking anymore. They were perfectly steady. I scrolled through my contacts slowly, my mind already 10 steps ahead, planning, calculating, organizing. I stopped on Detective Laura Brennan's name. My finger hovered over it. Laura and I went to college together. She owed me a favor, a big one. I'd helped her nephew when he was spiraling into drugs and trouble, talked him back from the edge, got him into rehab. She told me if I ever needed anything at all, she'd be there. But I didn't press call. Not yet. Because calling Laura meant going through the system. The same system that let boys like Tyler walk free twice before because Daddy had money and lawyers. I kept scrolling, stopped on another name, Kevin Monroe, my baby brother. Well, not so baby anymore. He was 35, owned a security company, and had connections I probably didn't want to know too much about. My finger hovered over his name. I thought about Amber upstairs, finally sleeping but probably having nightmares. I thought about that smug smile Tyler always wore. I thought about those 2 other girls whose cases mysteriously disappeared. A smile spread across my face. Not a happy smile. A cold, calculated smile. The smile of a mother who just decided that the justice system could wait. Because first, Tyler was going to learn a lesson he'd remember for the rest of his miserable life. I pressed call. Kevin answered on the second ring. His voice was groggy and confused. Trish, it's 2 a.m. Everything okay? No. My voice came out flat and hard. Everything is not okay. I need you to come over first thing in the morning, and I need you to bring your work tools. There was a pause. Kevin knew me well enough to know I didn't make dramatic late-night calls. What happened? Amber's boyfriend assaulted her tonight. And before you say anything, I'm not calling the police yet. I need your help with something else first. I'll be there at 7. His voice had shifted from sleepy to ice-cold alert. That kid's name is Tyler, right? Tyler Graves? Yes. I'll bring everything I have. He hung up without saying goodbye. That was Kevin, man of action, not words. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop, searching everything I could find about Tyler Graves and his family. His father, Richard Graves, was a corporate lawyer at one of the biggest firms in the state. His mother, Patricia Graves, sat on the board of 3 charities and threw fundraiser galas. They looked perfect in every photo. Smiling, polished, powerful. But I knew how to dig deeper. Years of being a high school counselor taught me where troubled kids came from, and more importantly, how to find the truth hidden behind perfect family portraits. At exactly 7 a.m., my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Kevin standing there with a thick manila folder under his arm and a laptop bag over his shoulder. His jaw was clenched tight, and I could see the anger radiating off him in waves. Is she okay? He asked, stepping inside. She's asleep, cried for hours. Kevin, it was bad. Tell me everything. I did. Every detail Amber had told me. By the time I finished, Kevin's hands were balled into fists so tight his knuckles had gone white. I'm going to kill him. No, you're not, because that would put you in jail and me without my brother. We're going to be smarter than that. Kevin took a long breath, forcing himself to calm down. This was why I called him instead of handling it alone. He had the resources I needed, but I had the strategy. Together we were dangerous. Show me what you brought. I said. He opened the folder on my kitchen table. Inside were printed pages with Tyler's address, his work schedule at some gym across town, photos of his car, and even screenshots of his social media accounts. How did you get all this in 5 hours? I didn't sleep either. Made some calls. One of my guys is a tech specialist. We pulled everything we could find legally. He paused. And maybe a few things that weren't exactly legal, but nothing that can be traced back to us. I flipped through the pages, my counselor brain automatically organizing the information. Tyler worked Tuesday through Saturday at Elite Fitness from noon to 8 p.m. He drove a black Mustang his parents bought him for his birthday. He posted constantly on social media, mostly showing off at the gym or partying with friends. Then I saw something that made my blood run cold. Kevin had printed out screenshots from a private chat group Tyler was part of. Messages from months ago. Tyler bragging about hooking up with girls, crude, disgusting descriptions that made my stomach turn. And then 2 separate conversations where other guys in the chat asked him about rumors they'd heard. Dude, didn't some girl accuse you of something last year? Tyler's response, yeah, but my dad's lawyer handled it. She had no proof, just her word against mine. Another message from 3 months later. Bro, I heard another chick tried to press charges. Tyler. Same thing. Dad paid her family off. All these girls are just clout chasers looking for attention. I read those messages 3 times, my hands shaking with rage. He's done this before, twice, and his family made it go away. That's not all, Kevin said quietly. He opened his laptop and pulled up a document. I had my guy do some deep searching. Found sealed court records, or at least references to them. 2 girls. One was named Jennifer Marsh, 16 at the time, filed a complaint 18 months ago. Case dismissed after the family suddenly dropped it. Second girl, Ashley Chen, 17, filed 8 months ago. Also dismissed when she refused to testify. They scared these girls into silence. Or paid them. Rich families do that. Make the problem disappear with money and threats. I stood up and paced my kitchen, my mind racing. The system failed them. If we go through normal channels, the same thing will happen to Amber. His family will hire expensive lawyers, drag her through hell, make her look like a liar, and he'll walk away clean. So what do you want to do? I stopped pacing and looked at my brother. I want to find those girls. I want their stories. I want Tyler to confess to everything he's done. And I want it all documented so thoroughly that no lawyer in the world can make it disappear. Kevin leaned back in his chair, studying me. You're not just angry. You're in strategic mode. I know that look. You've got a plan forming. I'm a counselor, Kevin. I've spent 15 years learning how predators think, how they operate, how they justify their actions. Boys like Tyler have patterns. They're arrogant. They think they're untouchable. That arrogance is their weakness. What do you need from me? I need you to find Jennifer Marsh and Ashley Chen. Get me their contact information. I need to talk to them personally, and I need surveillance on Tyler. I want to know everywhere he goes, everyone he talks to, everything he does. Done. What else? I pulled out my phone and opened it to a blank note. I also need to make another call. To Laura. The detective? I thought you said no police? I said no police yet, but Laura's going to be ready with an arrest warrant the moment I give her evidence that's absolutely bulletproof. Evidence so damning that even the Graves family can't touch it. Kevin nodded slowly. This is risky, Trish. If we mess this up, he could walk and come after you for harassment or worse. Then we don't mess it up. I met his eyes with absolute certainty. That boy violated my daughter. He's violated other girls. He thinks he's protected by money and family connections, but he forgot one thing. What's that? He forgot that some mothers don't stop until justice is served, not the kind of justice that comes from a courtroom. Real justice. Kevin smiled, but it wasn't a pleasant smile. It was the smile of someone who was about to help his sister destroy a predator. When do we start? Right now. Make those calls. Find those girls. And Kevin? Yeah? Don't tell Amber what we're doing yet. I don't want her involved until it's finished. She needs to heal. Let me handle the revenge. He stood up and grabbed his folder. You're kind of terrifying right now, you know that? Good. Tyler should be terrified too. He just doesn't know it yet. By noon, Kevin had already sent me contact information for both girls. Jennifer Marsh was now 18 and attending community college 2 towns over. Ashley Chen was 17, still in high school, different district from mine. Both had unlisted numbers which told me they were hiding, probably still scared. I decided to reach out to Jennifer first. I called her number and after 4 rings, a cautious voice answered. Hello? Hi, Jennifer. My name is Patricia Monroe. I'm a high school counselor and I need to talk to you about Tyler Graves. Silence. Then, I don't know what you're talking about. Please don't call this number again. Wait, I said quickly before she could hang up. Tyler assaulted my daughter last night. You're not in trouble. I'm not trying to expose you. I just need to know what happened to you because I think you're one of several girls, and I want to make sure he never does this again. More silence. I could hear her breathing, shaky and uncertain. Your daughter. Is she okay? Physically, yes. Emotionally, she's devastated. Just like I imagine you were. I can't help you. Her voice cracked. His family has lawyers. They threatened my parents, said if we pursued anything, they'd sue us for defamation and destroy my dad's business. We couldn't afford to fight them. My heart broke for this girl. I'm not asking you to testify or go public. I just need you to write down what happened. For my records. You can send it anonymously if you want, but these girls deserve to have their stories told, even if it's just to me. Why should I trust you? Because I'm a mother who's watching her daughter fall apart, and I know you understand exactly what that feels like. Because I'm not going through the system that failed you. I'm handling this differently. Another long pause. What do you mean differently? I mean Tyler Graves is going to pay for what he's done, but I need ammunition. I need proof that he's a repeat offender. Will you help me? If I do this, you have to promise my name stays out of it unless I say otherwise. I promise. Okay, I'll write it down and email it to you, but Mrs. Monroe, be careful. His family is powerful. They've made problems disappear before. They can't make me disappear. I hung up and immediately dialed Ashley's number. This conversation was harder. Ashley was still a minor, still living at home, and when I explained who I was and why I was calling, she started crying immediately. Her mother grabbed the phone and demanded to know what I wanted. I had to use every counseling skill I had to calm her down and explain that I wasn't a lawyer or reporter. I was just a mother trying to protect her daughter and others. Finally, Ashley's mother agreed to let her daughter write a statement, but only if I guaranteed their anonymity. I gave my word. By 3 p.m., I had both statements in my email. Reading them made me physically ill. Jennifer's assault happened at a house party, almost identical to what happened to Amber. Ashley's was worse. Tyler had taken her on a date, driven her to a secluded area, and attacked her in his car. Both girls described the same pattern. Charming at first, then controlling, then violent when they resisted. I printed the statements and added them to the growing folder of evidence, but it still wasn't enough. Written statements could be dismissed as hearsay or coordinated lies. I needed something more concrete, something irrefutable. That's when the idea hit me. I opened my laptop and went to a stock photo website. I found a picture of an attractive young woman, maybe 20 years old, with long dark hair and a bright smile. I downloaded it and created a fake social media profile. Name: Brooke Williams. Age: 21. College student. Interests: fitness, parties, fashion. Then I started building her online presence. A few generic posts about coffee and studying. Some shared memes. A handful of photos from the stock website showing Brooke at various locations. Nothing too elaborate, just enough to look real at first glance. By 6 p.m., Brooke Williams looked like a real person. Now came the dangerous part. I found Tyler's social media profile. He accepted friend requests from everyone, typical of someone who measured their worth in follower counts. I sent him a request from Brooke's account and waited. 15 minutes later, he accepted. Within 30 seconds, he sent a message. "Hey, beautiful. Don't think we've met before. You from around here?" My stomach turned at how quickly he took the bait, but I forced myself to respond as Brooke. "Hey, yeah, I just moved here for school. Your profile popped up and I thought you seemed cool." "Definitely cool. You should come hang out sometime." I spent the next 2 hours messaging back and forth with him, playing the role of flirty, interested Brooke. Tyler ate it up. He sent shirtless gym photos. He bragged about his car. He talked about parties he went to. And slowly, carefully, I steered the conversation toward relationships. "So are you seeing anyone?" Brooke asked. "Nah, just got out of something. Girl was too clingy, you know." Too clingy. That's what he called Amber after what he did to her. My hands clenched on the keyboard, but I kept typing as Brooke. "Oh yeah, I totally get that. Some girls are so dramatic." "Exactly, like, we hooked up once and she acted like I did something wrong. So annoying." There it was. A confession, casual and careless, because he thought he was talking to someone who'd take his side. I screenshot the conversation and saved it. Over the next 3 days, I continued messaging Tyler as Brooke. He became more comfortable, more vulgar, more honest. He sent inappropriate pictures. He made crude comments about girls' bodies. He even mentioned the previous accusations, laughing them off as crazy exes trying to get attention. Every message was screenshot and saved, every confession documented. But I needed more than messages. I needed him on video, admitting everything, in a situation he couldn't deny or explain away. On Wednesday evening, I called Kevin. "I need you to set something up for me. Friday night. Tyler thinks he's meeting a girl. I need cameras in a vehicle, hidden, recording everything." "What are you planning?" "I'm planning to give Tyler enough rope to hang himself." "Can you do it?" "I can have a full surveillance van ready. Audio, video, everything. But Trish, if you're going to confront him, you need backup. You'll be there. And I need you to bring 2 of your guys. People who know how to stay quiet and look intimidating." "Done. What should I tell them?" "Tell them we're catching a predator." That night, I sat Amber down on the couch. She'd been quiet all week, barely eating, barely sleeping. She looked up at me with hollow eyes. "Mum, are we going to the police?" I took her hands in mine. "Yes, baby, but not yet. First, I need you to trust me." "Can you do that?" "What are you doing?" "I'm making sure Tyler can never hurt anyone again. By Friday night, he's going to confess to everything he did, and it's going to be recorded. And then, Detective Laura is going to arrest him with so much evidence that his family's lawyers won't be able to save him." Amber's eyes widened. "How?" I smiled. That same cold smile from the night she came home crying. Because bad men always think they're smarter than everyone else. Tyler thinks he got away with it. He thinks he's safe, but he's about to walk right into a trap, and he won't even see it coming until it's too late. What if something goes wrong? Nothing will go wrong, I promise. That night, I sent Tyler a message as Brooke. "Hey, I'm free Friday night. Want to finally meet up?" His response came within seconds. "Hell yeah." "Where?" "There's a bar called Murphy's on State Street. Meet me in the parking lot at 9. I'll be in a black SUV in the back. We can talk somewhere private before we go inside." "Sounds perfect. Can't wait to see you, gorgeous." I stared at his message, my jaw clenched. "Can't wait to see you too, Tyler. You have no idea what's waiting for you." Friday night felt like it took forever to arrive. I spent the entire day preparing, going over every detail with Kevin a dozen times. Amber stayed home from school, still too fragile to face her classmates. I made her favorite breakfast and promised her that by tomorrow morning everything would be different. At 7 p.m., Kevin pulled up in a black SUV with tinted windows. It looked exactly like something a college girl might borrow from her parents. Perfect and unsuspicious. He'd mounted tiny cameras in the ceiling panels, completely invisible unless you knew exactly where to look. Audio recording equipment was hidden in the dashboard. Everything would be captured in high definition. "You sure about this?" Kevin asked, as I climbed into the passenger seat to test the setup. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life." Two of Kevin's security guys, both former military with the kind of presence that made people nervous just looking at them, arrived at 8. Their names were Marcus and Tony. Big guys, arms covered in tattoos, faces that looked like they'd seen things most people couldn't imagine. They climbed into the back seats without saying much. At 8:30, we drove to Murphy's Bar. The parking lot was half full. Mostly cars belonging to people inside drinking away their Friday night problems. We parked in the back corner, exactly where I'd told Tyler to meet Brooke. Kevin killed the engine and turned on the recording equipment. Red lights blinked on the dashboard, invisible to anyone who didn't know what to look for. "Cameras are rolling," Kevin said quietly. "Audio is hot. Whatever happens in this vehicle is being recorded from 4 different angles." My phone buzzed. A text from Tyler to Brooke's number. "On my way. Be there in 5. My heart started pounding. Not from fear, from anticipation. This boy had hurt my daughter. He'd hurt other girls. He thought he was untouchable. In 5 minutes, his entire world was going to collapse. "Everyone remember the plan?" I said, turning to look at Marcus and Tony in the back. "You don't say anything unless he tries to run or gets violent. You're just here to make him understand he's not in control." They both nodded. Men of few words. Just like Kevin. At exactly 9 p.m., headlights swept across the parking lot. A black Mustang pulled in, music thumping from expensive speakers. Tyler. He parked 3 spaces away, checked himself in the rearview mirror, ran his fingers through his hair like he was preparing for a date. The arrogance made me sick. He stepped out of his car wearing tight jeans and a fitted shirt that showed off his gym muscles. Cologne so strong I could smell it from inside our vehicle. He looked around the parking lot, spotted our black SUV and smiled, that same cocky smile I'd seen 100 times when he picked up Amber. He walked toward us, hands in his pockets, completely relaxed. He had no idea what was about to happen. He reached the passenger door and opened it, expecting to see Brooke. Instead, he saw me. The smile vanished from his face instantly. His eyes went wide. Mrs. Monroe, what are you doing here?" "Get in, Tyler, we need to talk." "Where's Brooke? Is this some kind of joke?" He looked around the parking lot like he was expecting cameras for a prank show. "There is no Brooke. Get in the vehicle, now." He laughed nervously. "You're crazy, I'm not getting in there." He tried to back away, but Kevin had already climbed out of the driver's seat and moved behind him, blocking his path. Tyler spun around and found himself face to face with my brother, who had 6 inches and 50 pounds of muscle on him. "The lady said get in," Kevin said, his voice calm but carrying an edge that made Tyler's face go pale. Tyler looked from Kevin to me and back again. "This is illegal. This is kidnapping. I'll call the cops." "Go ahead," I said, holding up my phone. "Call them. Explain why you drove to a bar to meet someone you've been messaging all week. Someone who told you in multiple texts that she was 16 years old. I have all the screenshots, Tyler. Every single message where you said age didn't matter." His hand froze halfway to his pocket. The colour drained from his face. I thought she was joking. "Get in the vehicle or I send every message to the police right now. Your choice." Tyler's breathing became rapid and panicked. He looked around the parking lot one more time, maybe hoping someone would save him. But we were alone in this corner. Nobody could see us. Nobody was coming to help him. He climbed into the passenger seat and Kevin shut the door behind him. The child locks engaged with a click. Tyler grabbed the door handle and pulled, but it didn't budge. He was trapped. Kevin got back in the driver's seat. Marcus and Tony sat in the back seats, silent and stone-faced, their presence filling the vehicle with an energy that made Tyler shrink into his seat. "What do you want?" Tyler's voice cracked. The cocky teenager was gone, replaced by a scared boy who suddenly realized he wasn't in control anymore. "I want the truth," I said, pulling out my phone and opening the voice recording app. I want you to tell me exactly what you did to my daughter last Friday night, every single detail. And then I want you to tell me about Jennifer Marsh and Ashley Chen. His face went white as a sheet. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. My voice came out harder than I intended, all the rage I'd been holding back for a week finally cracking through. You assaulted my daughter. You dragged her upstairs at a party, threw her on a bed, and violated her while she cried and begged you to stop. And she's not the first girl you've done this to. That's not... She wanted to... We were just... Tyler stammered, looking for an excuse. Any excuse. Kevin started the engine. The rumble made Tyler jump. We can do this here, or we can drive to the police station right now, Kevin said. Detective Brennan is waiting for my call. She's got statements from your previous victims. She's got your messages to Brooke. She's got recordings of you bragging to your gym buddies about hooking up with high school girls. The only question is whether you want to confess now and maybe get some leniency, or whether you want to play games and face the full weight of everything we've collected. Tyler's hands were shaking. Tears started forming in his eyes. The reality of his situation was finally sinking in. His daddy's lawyers couldn't save him from this. The money couldn't make this disappear. He was caught, completely and totally caught. Please, he whispered, I'll lose everything. I'll go to jail. You should have thought about that before you touched my daughter, I said, my voice cold as ice. Now talk. Tell me what you did. All of it. Or I press send on this email to Detective Brennan and you're done. Your choice. Tyler broke. He started crying. His whole body shaking just like Amber's had been a week ago. But I felt no sympathy. None at all. Okay, he sobbed. Okay, I'll tell you everything. Just please don't send that email. I held up my phone, recording app active. Start talking. Tyler's confession poured out like poison from an infected wound. He told me everything. How he'd gotten drunk at the party and gotten angry when Amber said she wanted to leave. How he'd grabbed her arm hard enough to bruise and dragged her upstairs. How he'd pushed her onto the bed and held her down while she cried. How he'd touched her, forced himself on her, ignored every time she said no. Why? I asked, my voice shaking with barely controlled rage. Why did you do it? Because she tried to break up with me, he sobbed, a week before the party. She said she didn't think we should be together anymore. I got mad. I wanted to show her that she didn't get to make that choice, that I was in control. My stomach turned. This wasn't passion or misunderstanding or teenage stupidity. This was calculated cruelty. This was about power. And the other girls? Jennifer and Ashley? Tyler's face crumbled further. Jennifer was at a party too. She rejected me in front of my friends, made me look stupid. So later that night, I got her alone and I did the same thing. Ashley was different. She kept talking about wanting to wait, about not being ready. It annoyed me. So on our third date, I took her somewhere private and I didn't wait. And you thought you could get away with it because Daddy's a lawyer. He always fixed things before, Tyler whispered. He made their families go away. Paid them off, or scared them. He told me as long as there was no proof, it was just their word against mine. I wanted to reach across and strangle him. Instead, I stopped the recording and saved it to 3 different locations. Cloud storage, email to myself, and a backup drive Kevin handed me. You're going to turn yourself in tomorrow morning, I said, my voice deadly calm. You're going to plead guilty to everything. If you don't, this recording goes public. Your family, your friends, everyone in this town will know exactly what kind of monster you are. My life is over, Tyler sobbed. Good, I said without a shred of sympathy. Get out. Kevin unlocked the doors. Tyler stumbled out of the SUV and fell to his knees on the pavement, crying like a child. We drove away, leaving him there in the parking lot, broken and pathetic. The moment we turned onto the main road, I pulled out my phone and texted Detective Laura. I have everything. Come to my house tomorrow at 8 a.m. Bring the warrant. Her response came immediately. I'll be there. That night, I slept better than I had in a week. Saturday morning at 8 a.m. sharp, Detective Laura arrived with 2 uniformed officers. I'd already made coffee and laid out everything on my dining room table. The recordings, the screenshots, the statements from Jennifer and Ashley, the video footage from the SUV, documentation of Tyler's pattern of abuse. Laura sat down and spent 45 minutes reviewing everything. She listened to Tyler's confession twice, her expression growing darker each time. When she finally looked up at me, her eyes were hard as steel. "This is more than enough," she said. "We'll arrest him within the hour." "His family will try to make it go away," I warned. "Not this time. Attempted solicitation of a minor through electronic communication is a federal offense. The fake profile messages seal his fate. Even if his family's lawyers get creative with the assault charges, they can't touch the federal charge. He's done." At 10 a.m., police cars pulled up to the Graves family mansion. I watched the news coverage from my living room with Amber beside me. Tyler's parents answered the door in their expensive robes, immediately demanding to speak with their lawyer. But when Laura played 30 seconds of Tyler's confession, even his father went silent. Tyler was arrested on charges of multiple counts of sexual assault, attempted solicitation of a minor, and conspiracy to obstruct justice. The news spread through our town like wildfire. By noon, it was the top story on every local channel. By evening, Jennifer and Ashley both called me. They'd seen the news. They were crying, but this time with relief. "You did it," Jennifer said. "You actually did it." "We did it," I corrected her. "Your statements helped build the case. Your courage helped take him down." Within days, 3 more girls came forward with their own stories about Tyler. Girls who'd been too scared before but now saw that someone had finally stood up to him and won. The case against Tyler grew stronger with each testimony. His lawyer tried everything. Argued the confession was coerced, claimed the fake profile was entrapment, demanded the evidence be thrown out. But the federal charge stuck. The pattern of abuse was undeniable. And Tyler's own words, recorded in crystal-clear audio, buried him. 6 weeks later, faced with overwhelming evidence and the threat of a very public trial, Tyler took a plea deal. 8 years in prison with mandatory registration as a sex offender for life. His college prospects vanished. His perfect future evaporated. His family's reputation crumbled. The day his sentencing was announced, Amber and I were sitting in our kitchen making dinner together. She'd started therapy and was slowly healing. She was laughing again, making plans for college, talking about becoming a counselor like me so she could help other survivors. "Mom," she said, pausing while chopping vegetables, "that night I came home crying. I saw you smile. Why did you smile?" I set down my knife and looked at my daughter. "Because the moment you told me what he did, I already knew exactly how I was going to destroy him. I smiled because he'd already lost. He just didn't know it yet." Amber hugged me tightly. "Thank you for fighting for me. Always, baby. Always." 2 weeks later, a letter arrived in the mail. It was from Ashley. She was applying to colleges now, studying criminal justice. She wanted to become a prosecutor to help girls like us. "You gave me my voice back," she wrote. "You showed me that justice is possible. You changed my life." I pinned that letter to my refrigerator next to a photo of Amber smiling. Every morning I looked at it and remembered that sometimes the system fails. Sometimes justice doesn't come from courtrooms and lawyers. Sometimes it comes from a mother who refuses to let her daughter become another forgotten victim. Tyler learned his lesson. Every day in his prison cell, wearing his orange jumpsuit, facing the consequences of his actions for the first time in his privileged life. He'd messed with the wrong girl and forgotten the most important rule. Never underestimate a mother's love, and never underestimate her revenge.